Gentry Chow versus the Underworld is a really good show, and if you haven't watched it yet, then I highly recommend it. The title is pretty self-explanatory, but the show is about the titular Gentry Chow dealing with the dangers of her powers while battling against the forces of the underworld that want to take her powers. That's not all though, because she still has to deal with the horror of high school and all the social landmines that involves. And don't worry, that's about all I will say about the specifics of the plot, so no spoilers here because I think the show is better when you go in blind. The biggest reason for that is because the pacing is way faster than I thought it would have been. Every time I thought the show might stick with one plot point or another, the show will resolve it or tackle it and introduce new things to deal with. Whether that's a good thing or not is up to you, but I loved it. I was never able to predict how things would play out, and if you told me to guess where the show would end up at the end of the season, I wouldn't have been even close. This show is on Netflix, so I wonder if part of it was because they were a little worried that Netflix wouldn't pick it up for another season, which is valid. Honestly, the season ended in a way that made it feel complete, but if it got another season, I would be pretty happy. There's a lot to praise with the show. The humor and writing were fun to watch, and it really reminded me of older cartoons. The animation is great, and the fight scenes were spectacular. The characters are fun and had fun interactions with each other. They felt realistic, and no one was aggressively annoying. Well, maybe the vice principal. Also, I love the designs, especially the monsters, as they were largely inspired by Chinese mythology and such. And speaking of, the show reminds me a lot of the life and times of Juniper Lee. If you know, you know. So yeah, check out the show, and please Netflix overlords, give us a second season. Justice for Kit, and if a Mogwai tries to make a deal with you, don't take it. It's never worth it.